everyone, it's Michelle and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. I hope everyone had a lovely weekend and a great start to their week, but I have some fun and exciting news. I opened up a P.O. box, guys, so now you can send me something if you like. I know I've received quite a few emails from brands and sponsorships and RDT community members who wanted to send me something, so I went ahead and got a P.O. box, and the address will be in the description on all of my videos from today moving forward. But I'm really excited about the P.O. box. There's a funny story. I went to open up the P.O. box and there was 3 people working in there. And when I told them that the P.O. box was for my YouTube channel and that I talk about the royals, they were so fascinated and they wanted to talk royals. And one of the guys in there, he's a little bit older, and he's like, "So did they do it?" And I was like, "What, Harry and Meghan?" And he's like, "No, did they kill Diana?" He wanted to know about Princess Diana and all of the conspiracy theories. The other ones were a little bit younger, and I asked them if they watched South Park, and they said yes, and they all thought it was hilarious. And they made a little joke about, what happens, do you get any trolls or anything? And I said, well, if you get anything that looks questionable, if it's, ticking or leaking a weird substance or there's no return address, feel free to throw it in the trash. And so they all kind of laughed, but they were very excited about the Royal Daily Tea, and I think they might even check out my channel. So if you are at the PostalAnnex, hi guys, thanks for stopping by. Now you guys, we have our very first sponsor for today's video. Her name is Elise Torres, and she just started a brand new travel business and is a part of the RDT family community. She can help you book your dream vacation, guys. She's a one-stop shop person. She can help you get the best rates on your airfare, on your hotels, on your all-inclusive resorts, amusement parks, show tickets, events, corporate events, church groups, weddings, and more. She also has a travel blog. She has packages on here for the latest cruise and travel specials. So please go and show support for Elise. If you're planning to book a vacation, you might want to give her a call. Now, I will have her linked below, and if you go to her website and contact her, let her know that RDT sent you. But you guys, I'm really excited about the P.O. box. I'm excited for Elise and her brand new business, but most of all, I'm excited for some royal tea. So you know what to do, guys. Sit back and relax. Grab yourself a beverage and let's get into the Royal Daily Tea. So today's episode is going to be extra Fergalicious, as we have a lot of topics that have to do with Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York. Now, as we know, the vivacious redhead has been the lady about town as she has been out promoting her brand new book, A Most Intriguing Lady, which I believe is debuting on March 7th. Now, she most recently sat down for an interview with quite a few different TV shows where she kind of gave a shocking claim that she says she never really met Meghan Markle, that she doesn't know her. She's like, "I don't know you, boo." Kind of like how Mariah Carey said she didn't know Jennifer Lopez. I don't know her. Yeah, it's a little weird considering the fact that Meghan has been married to Prince Harry for almost 5 years, but in a way it's also kind of believable considering the fact that, Fergie is the ex-wife of Prince Andrew. She is the mother of Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice, but she's kind of been on the outside of the royals for many years. She most recently was offered kind of a pass back into the royal family and attended, I believe, the holidays with the royals at Sandringham via Camilla and King Charles. But for the past 25 years, she definitely has not been on the invite list for the royals, even though she's shacking up with her ex-husband, Prince Andrew. It's rumored that Prince Philip could not stand her, and that is why she was mostly exiled from royal events. Well, now she's in the good graces of the royal family, so we all knew she wasn't going to rock the boat when she was asked questions. Now, she said in an interview that she never really met Meghan, that she's talked to her, at the Queen's funeral. But the weird thing is, Meghan famously outed the fact that she was expecting Archie at Princess Eugenie's wedding. So did Sarah not interact with Harry and Meghan at this wedding? That could be a very big possibility, considering the fact that's a huge wedding. There's, a couple thousand people there. That was a very large event. But I do think it's kind of weird that Harry wouldn't go up and kiss the mother of the bride, because she is kind of a main person for this wedding. Maybe they just shook hands but never really had a conversation. So when she said she never really met Meghan, never really talked to her, doesn't know her, she could be saying they never had a formal introduction, never really sat down and got to know each other, but they probably seen each other on a couple of occasions. Again, Sarah hasn't been invited to quite a few events. I don't think she was invited to William's wedding, and I don't think she was invited to Harry's wedding. So the only two places that Meghan really would have met Fergie would have been at Eugenie's wedding and the Queen's funeral. So that is a little strange, right? That they're kind of family members through marriage, and they're both married to royal spares. But it is a little weird how they didn't really get to know each other. Now, the thing that I find strange is the whole scenario where Meghan made a big to-do about how she learned to curtsy on her Netflix series when she said Fergie taught her to curtsy. Now again, it doesn't mean that this event did not occur. It could have been a very quick, oh hi, how are you? Do you know how to curtsy? Here you go, and meet the Queen. So maybe according to Fergie, she's saying, well, I haven't really met her. I don't know her. We never got to know each other. They met each other for a couple of minutes here or there. But I really am mad at the interviewers for not bringing up the question, but did you teach her to curtsy? Did that really happen? If I was the interviewer, I would have been like, but didn't she say you taught her to curtsy outside of the Royal Lodge, which is where Fergie lives, right? With Prince Andrew, where she famously thought that Prince Andrew was the help. But we all know that's not true. That was a little act, if you ask me, but whatever. She may or may not have met him on a yacht, but, speculation. So, again, it's very weird how Meghan has this recollections may vary, of this intimate meeting with Fergie where they laughed and she taught her to curtsy to go meet the Queen, and she did the, Your Majesty, and she did the over dramatic, medieval curtsy where she's making that little smirk, and you could tell Harry's a little miffed. But Fergie never alluded to the fact that she taught her to curtsy. Don't you think she would say, oh, I haven't really met her, but I did teach her to curtsy, and of course I spoke to her at the Queen's funeral. She never brought up that event. I think that's a little strange, and it was at Fergie's house, supposedly, the Royal Lodge. So I just find that weird how there's two contradicting stories. Why didn't the interviewers ask her that question? Seriously, someone needs to ask Fergie, did you teach her to curtsy? Because if she's busted in another lie, woo, it's like you can't trust Meghan to tell you that the sky is blue and the ground is green. Nothing with this woman ever adds up. It's just weird. Now here's another interesting story. They're saying that Fergie has a new fella. She's been seen flying back and forth to Texas, hanging out with a mysterious millionaire. Now we all know that Fergie's a little cash poor, and when times get tough, her and Andrew make friends with lots of rich people. They always seem to have people hanging around somewhere in their pocket, right? But apparently people might think this could be a new romance for Fergie. And if you've seen Fergie lately, in my opinion, she looks good. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I think Fergie needs a makeover bad. She needs a makeover. It looks like she might have had some work done. Now, I'm not saying she did, but I think girlfriend had a little Botox. Yeah, I think she got herself a new boo. She got some Botox. She got a new wardrobe. And honey, she has a new address. That's right. She has that little $5 million house that she bought last year. So something's telling me Fergie's reinventing herself. You know, she's 63 years old. You know, she is literally so young. 63 is the new 40. And to be honest with you, I have wanted this woman to reinvent herself, to get a makeover, and for crying out loud, get Andrew off of her teat. I'm sorry, but get the man away from you. I know he's your ex-husband. I know he is your baby daddy. But those children are grown and they're parents. You don't need to uphold your ex-husband. You don't need to be his cheerleader. You don't need to hold him up and tell everyone how wonderful he is. He is a grown man. He has got himself into some trouble. Honey, he made his bed. Let him lie in it. You need to remove yourself and go live your life. I have wanted to remove her from Andrew's house for so long. Look, I know they're friends and she's keeping it good for the kids, but go live your life. I cannot stand the fact that she's just hanging on with Andrew and sitting there building him up and telling people how awesome he is. It's like, it's not your monkey or your circus anymore, Sarah. You're divorced. Move on, sweetheart. Move on. But apparently, it looks like she is getting a new lease on life, and I'm loving that for her. You know, I have a love-hate relationship with Sarah Ferguson. I would say love-dislike, not hate. I have a love-dislike. I used to love her in the 80s and 90s when she was a spokesperson for Weight Watchers and Wedgwood China. I thought she was so fun. She was the vivacious, redheaded duchess. And we love that in America because we don't have duchesses. Well, we do now, but we didn't then. And so she was fun. We loved her. But then, you know, all the little scandals kind of started coming out. And then she keeps hanging out with Andrew and we're like, ugh, that's kind of weird. But now I'm happy for Sarah. She looks fabulous. I'm sorry. I think she had work done. Looks like she's got a whole lease on life. She's enjoying herself with the Queen's dogs. And she also tells a fun story how she's spoiling the Queen's corgis. And at times she felt the Queen's presence might have been there with the puppies. You know how dogs have a sixth sense and they'll bark at something or look at something that's not there. I totally believe that animals see our spirits and that sometimes people just want to be with their animals. So I believe the Queen could possibly be visiting her puppies. Who knows? But it's a wonderful story. She looks great. I'm happy for her. And I hope that she has a new lease on life. Now, there's another story that has come out in regards to Frogmore Cottage. Now, there's a rumor that Princess Eugenie and her husband, Jack Brooksbank, have moved into Frogmore Cottage. Again, everything seems a bit off. Rumor was a couple months ago that Eugenie and Jack had moved out of Frogmore Cottage. If you remember, they were staying there. They were leasing it from the Sussexes, and her husband got a job where he was spending 6 months out of the year in Portugal. The other 6 months of the year, they went to their marital home, the place they lived before they leased Frogmore Cottage. But now the rumor is that Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank went and packed up Harry and Meghan's items, and now they are living at Frogmore Cottage. Now the rumor is, of course, is that Prince Andrew is elated that his daughter is living at Frogmore Cottage. And why is that? Because his ass doesn't want to move. That's why. We all know Andrew is not going, guys. He is not going down. Nope. I do not see Andrew downsizing. I don't. Unless he's going to go shack up with poor little Fergie, honey. You better make sure you shut that door and change the locks because he's a-coming to your house. You know what I'm saying, ladies? I mean, sometimes you just got to cut that cord. But anyways, I think he's going to stick it out at Royal Lodge as long as he can. Now, apparently there's some kind of damp issue that could make it unlivable. I don't know. But the rumor on the street is that now Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank are living at Frogmore Cottage, and Andrew's very happy for them because, you know, it kind of gives him an out and a way to stay at the Royal Lodge. Now, here's another thing that's weird and inconsistent. If you remember at the Queen's funeral, how there was that very weird body language between Eugenie, Jack Brooksbank, and the Sussexes, it was off. And then when you watch the Netflix series, and according to Taz also pointed this out in her video, it looked like they had moved out a long time ago. Maybe last summer they had already packed up a lot of their stuff because Meghan didn't feel safe. And if you looked at their Netflix series, you see boxes everywhere. Now maybe they just packed up some of the stuff because they were going to America on that freedom flight. So maybe they just took half their belongings and they still had stuff in the house, which I can understand. They probably had a lot of furniture that they didn't ship. So the rumor is that Jack Brooksbank and Eugenie packed up their stuff and now they're moving their stuff into the house. It's all weird. I don't know what to believe. I guess time will tell what is the true story. Now, we do know that Harry and Meghan have an obsession with controlling the narrative. That is why we're confused. Did Fergie teach you to curtsy, or did you make that up? Is the sky blue? Is the ground green? Where did you have Archie? What day was he born? Is that a moon bump? Is it a pregnancy? Did you guys move out of Frogmore Cottage, or were you evicted? Did you know about it? I mean, it's like we're just all confused, right? So when they put the story out, they actually said they received correspondence from his father's office in regards to the coronation. So when I said they received an invitation via email, I actually spoke incorrectly. I believe his father sent correspondence through his office to notify them to be on the lookout for a formal invitation in the mail. That's probably what the correspondence was in regards to, was a heads up, look for this invitation. Not that they sent them the invitation, in the email. So of course, Harry and Meghan had to leak, we got correspondence. They had to leak the story to the press to get people interested in them. So of course, they're not answering if they are going, if they're not going. But in my opinion, I still believe they don't know what they're doing, obviously. And they're going to make people wait until the last minute because, again, they're in that weird situation. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I, for one, think it's a toss-up. I think it would be more beneficial for them to attend the coronation. But then again, it's going to be a public humiliation. You know what I mean? They're not going to be well received by the crowds of people. But again, does it look worse if they attend, or does it look worse if they don't? Because this is what happens when you lie. This is what happens when you stir the pot and people start to call you out and realize that you're a liar. So this is what happens to you, Meghan, when you get outed. See, I think the problem with Meghan Markle is that she is not used to the worldwide global stage that she's on. So the little tactics and the lies and the manipulation that she was able to do pre-Harry, she can't really pull it anymore because people are pulling out their receipts. Like with Fergie saying, I don't know her, never met her, and then she's over here saying, well, she taught me to curtsy. Right? And then people saying, we've been evicted. We've been kicked out of our only home we've ever known in the UK. And then people are saying, well, did you not renew the lease? Or were you actually evicted? Did you actually move out already? Or are you now moving out? Like, it's just up and down the narrative. We don't know which way is left or right. But Harry, Meghan, that is what they do. When people don't tell the truth, it's complicated. You ever meet someone who just can't say yes or no, left or right, but they have to come up with all this word salad? And when people make simple things complicated, they're lying, right? The truth is to the point. But when they have to make up a scenario and everything's so complicated and this and that, and I can't do it because of this and this reason, it's like they're lying. And that's what Meghan and Harry do. They like a lot of smoke and mirrors because they're not truthful. Like the whole pregnancy thing, whatever you believe, it's just weird. Things don't add up. And you look at Catherine, there's no question. You look at all the other royals, there's never a question because it's out there. There's nothing to hide. But with Harry and Meghan, everything is, a secret. I gotta put up a secret. It's so difficult. Oh my God, the smoke and mirrors. It's like no one knows anything. That's why 5 years later, we're all still scratching our heads, wondering what the hell happened with Archie's birth, Lilibet's birth, etc., etc. Everything is just weird with these two. Okay, so I think Harry and Meghan are planning something. They're going to upstage somehow, you know, maybe a christening, a birthday party. Who freaking knows? I mean, good luck. I'm a little worried for King Charles because he's already getting backlash. You know, he wasn't the most popular royal, as we talked about, compared to his mother. He really isn't, right? But I think people have embraced him more than I expected them to. I thought he was actually going to be worse, right? But I think after his mother passed, people kind of latched on to the king more and Camilla a lot more than I thought. But he's still getting some backlash. So apparently, at one of his most recent events, you know, he did have some demonstrators. They were saying, "Not my king." You know, they were holding some signs at one of his latest events. You know, about 20 people. They said that they're going to show up for the coronation and that they are going to basically protest. Now, this event happened when him and Camilla went to go visit Milton Keynes on Thursday to celebrate the new status as a city. Now, this classification was awarded to them during Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee. Now, he had arrived at the Church of Christ, the cornerstone, where the protesters were there, and they had this huge sign, "Not my king." It's really sad, but you know, no matter where you go, there's a stronger anti-monarchy sentiment thanks to his son and his wife. I mean, I think we can give them credit for that. They've won over a lot of people, but yes, there is a lot of criticism. So I really, really hope that for his coronation, these yahoos don't mess it up because it's such a wonderful tradition that most of us have never seen a coronation in our lifetime. I've never seen a coronation in my lifetime. This is something that people are going to remember for years, much like the people who watched Queen Elizabeth and her coronation and the Platinum Jubilee. These are exciting times that the whole world can celebrate. And you don't want a bunch of little idiots to take that away. I am so grateful for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, that it was a wonderful celebration. But then we have Harry and Meghan. We don't know what they're going to do for his coronation. You know, are they going to come? Are they not going to come? Are they going to plan a stunt? And now we have these protesters, you know, who are out there. My other thing I'm worried about, of course, is King Charles's coronation concert. A lot of A-listers have turned down the event. Now, most of them, I believe, or if not all of them, are due to scheduling and touring conflicts like Elton John, Adele, Ed Sheeran, and Kylie Minogue. They're saying they snubbed the King's concert, but none of them have actually said they turned it down for that reason. So I think it has to do with scheduling. But apparently Lionel Richie and Sir Paul McCartney will be performing at the concert. Now, I don't know who else is going to be performing, but I believe as it gets closer to the coronation, we'll have more and more people jumping on the bandwagon. But I'm a little nervous if people keep pulling out of this event because, again, I don't think it's fair to King Charles to get such a bad rap. He's waited so long to become king, and it's going to be a huge moment for a lot of people. So I really hope it turns out well. But that's all the royal news that I have for you guys today. Let me know your thoughts on everything that we discussed. Leave me your comments, guys, down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.